Imagine waking up to a world where every word spoken carries immense power, where a single phrase can uplift someone's spirit or shatter their confidence in an instant. This is not just a poetic thought, but a reality of human communication. Words are not just sounds. They hold the power to heal, inspire, comfort, and guide, but they can also wound, destroy, and create lasting scars in the hearts of others. The Supreme Buddha, with his infinite wisdom, understood this profound truth and emphasized the importance of mindful speech. His teachings remind us that every word we utter leaves an imprint on our karma, shaping the way we experience the world and how others respond to us. Today, let us explore why the Buddha advised against speaking harsh words, how our speech influences our karma, and how we can cultivate gentle, kind, and meaningful speech to lead a life of harmony and wisdom. Stay with me until the end, because this lesson might transform the way you communicate forever. In our daily lives, we often underestimate the power of our words. Think about it. How often have you been affected by something someone said to you? Maybe it was a compliment that lifted your spirits or an insult that left a lingering wound. Words are like seeds. When spoken with kindness and love, they grow into strong, beautiful relationships. But when spoken with anger and harshness, they create conflict, resentment, and suffering. That's why the Supreme Buddha said, "Do not speak harsh words. If you do, one day, harsh words will be spoken to you." This is the universal law of karma in action. The energy we put into the world, whether through our actions, thoughts, or speech, eventually returns to us. Think of it this way. If you throw a stone into a pond, it creates ripples that expand outward, affecting the entire surface of the water. Similarly, words ripple through the lives of others, creating either harmony or discord. A famous businessman once shared a story about how his entire career changed when he became mindful of his words. He was known for being aggressive, always yelling at his employees when things didn't go his way. Over time, people began to fear him, and instead of gaining their respect, he lost their trust. One day, an old mentor advised him, "Your company is a reflection of your words. If your words are harsh, your company will be in chaos. If your words are kind, your company will flourish." Taking this advice to heart, he started practicing mindful speech, choosing his words carefully, speaking with kindness, and appreciating his employees. Within months, the work environment changed. His team became more productive, and he found that people genuinely wanted to help him succeed. This example shows us that our words shape not only our relationships, but also our environment and success in life. The Supreme Buddha often spoke about Mano Dhamma, the law of the mind. He said, "If with an impure mind one speaks, suffering follows like the cartwheel follows the ox." This means that our words, when spoken with anger, jealousy, or hatred, create suffering, both for ourselves and others. Just as a cart follows an ox pulling it forward, our words shape our karma and determine the quality of our lives. There was once a king who was known for his harsh speech. He insulted his ministers, humiliated his servants, and spoke rudely to anyone who displeased him. One day, a wise monk visited his palace. The king, in his usual manner, spoke disrespectfully to the monk, saying, "What wisdom can a beggar like you possibly have?" The monk smiled gently and replied, "Your Majesty, if I were to give you a gift but you refuse to accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The king, slightly confused, answered, "If I refuse to accept it, then the gift remains with you." The monk nodded and said, "Likewise, the harsh words you have spoken do not belong to me. They remain with you, shaping your karma." The king was stunned. He realized that his speech had been poisoning his own soul. From that day on, he made a conscious effort to change the way he spoke, treating his people with kindness and respect. Over time, he transformed from a feared ruler into a beloved and wise king. This story teaches us that when we speak harshly, the negativity stays with us. But when we speak with kindness, we plant the seeds of good karma, which will bear fruit in our future. Now, let's dive deeper into one of the most powerful teachings of the Supreme Buddha when it comes to speech: the 3 filters of speech. This is a simple yet life-changing method to ensure that what we say is always beneficial, kind, and wise. Think about this for a second. How often do we say things without really thinking? We gossip, we complain, we argue, we react in the heat of the moment. But have you ever said something and immediately regretted it? Maybe you blurted out an insult in frustration, or you made a sarcastic comment that hurt someone more than you intended. Once words leave our mouths, we can't take them back. They have already entered the world, and they start shaping our relationships, our karma, and even our future. That's why the Supreme Buddha taught us the 3 filters of speech. Think of this as a checkpoint system for your words. Before you say something, it has to pass through 3 important gates. Is it true? This is the first and most important filter. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to say true? Do I have proof that it's true, or am I just assuming? Am I saying this based on facts, or is it just gossip and hearsay? Lies, half-truths, and exaggerations create confusion, break trust, and lead to suffering. When we spread falsehoods, whether intentional or not, it creates negative karma. Now, I want you to imagine a workplace scenario. Let's say someone starts a false rumor about you. Maybe they say you got a promotion unfairly, or that you made a mistake when you didn't. Even if you did nothing wrong, suddenly people start looking at you differently. They whisper behind your back. They treat you unfairly. That's the power of false speech. A simple lie can ruin someone's reputation, cost them their job, or damage their relationships. And here's the catch. Even if you're not the one starting the falsehood, if you pass it along, you're just as responsible. So before speaking, always ask yourself, is it 100% true? Do I have all the facts? Would I say this if the person were standing right in front of me? If it doesn't pass the truth filter, stop right there. Is it kind? Even if something is true, the next filter asks, will my words hurt someone? Will they cause unnecessary pain or anger? Let's be honest. Sometimes we say hurtful things not because they're necessary, but because we're upset, jealous, or trying to prove a point. For example, imagine you're having an argument with a close friend or family member. You know exactly what to say to hurt them the most. You know their insecurities, their past mistakes, and their deepest fears. Now, you could say something truthful. But if it's cruel, is it really worth it? Buddhism teaches us that words can be like a knife. We can use them to help, like a surgeon saving a life, or we can use them to wound, like a weapon in battle. A kind truth is different from a cruel truth. For example, if a friend is gaining weight and you say, "You look awful, you should lose some weight," that's a hurtful truth. But if you say, "Hey, I care about you. Maybe we can start working out together and focus on being healthier," that's still the truth, but spoken with kindness. So, before you speak, ask yourself, Even if this is true, will it hurt or help? Can I say this in a softer, more loving way? Would I want someone to say this to me? If it doesn't pass the kindness filter, hold your tongue. Is it necessary? Now, this one is interesting because most people don't think about it. Is this something that actually needs to be said? Does it add value to the conversation? Is it helpful, or am I just talking for the sake of talking? This is the filter that stops gossip, complaining, and useless chatter. Let's be real. How much of our daily conversation is just noise? Talking about things that don't matter. Complaining about things we can't change. Saying things just to fill the silence. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words. If what you're about to say doesn't serve a purpose, why say it? Think about the people you admire the most. Are they the ones who talk nonstop? Or are they the ones who speak only when necessary? But when they do, their words are powerful. So, before you speak, ask yourself, does this need to be said? Will this improve the situation? Would silence be better than these words? If it doesn't pass the necessity filter, stay silent. Final thought. Imagine how peaceful the world would be if we all applied these 3 filters. If we only spoke the truth. If we only spoke with kindness. If we only spoke when necessary. That's why the Supreme Buddha said, "Better than 1,000 useless words is one word that brings peace." All right, we've talked about the dangers of harsh speech and the importance of filtering our words. But how do we actually apply this in our daily lives? 1. Pause before you speak. This is the simplest but most powerful technique. Before you say anything, take a deep breath. Give yourself 3 seconds to think. Imagine if every argument, every insult, every regretful word could be stopped by a simple pause. If you feel anger rising, instead of reacting immediately, pause. Count to 3. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will I regret saying this later? 2. Speak as if every word shapes your karma, because it does. The Buddha teaches that everything we say leaves an imprint on our karma. If we speak words of kindness, we build a future filled with love and trust. If we speak harsh words, we plant the seeds of future suffering. Imagine that every word you speak is a seed. Will it grow into a beautiful tree of kindness, or will it grow into a thorn bush of regret? 3. Respond with kindness, even when others are harsh. This one is hard, but it's life-changing. When someone yells at you, insults you, or speaks rudely, your natural instinct is to fight back. But what happens when you do that? The fight escalates. Anger grows. The situation gets worse. Instead, do what the Buddha did. Respond with gentleness. If someone insults you, say, "I'm sorry you feel that way." If someone yells at you, remain calm. Do not feed their anger with more anger. 4. Surround yourself with people who speak kindly. Let's be honest. Our speech is influenced by the people we spend time with. If your friends gossip all the time, you'll end up gossiping too. If your colleagues complain constantly, you'll pick up that habit. Instead, spend time with people who uplift you, who speak positively, who inspire you. And if you can't find those people, be that person for others. Words are like fire. Used wisely, they can bring warmth and light. Used carelessly, they can burn and destroy. So today, let's make a commitment to speak with wisdom, kindness, and mindfulness. Because the words we choose don't just shape the world around us, they shape who we are. Now, tell me, what is one change you'll make today in the way you speak? Words have energy. They can uplift or destroy, bring people together or tear them apart. By following the Supreme Buddha's advice to avoid harsh speech, we not only protect our karma, but also create a world where kindness and understanding thrive. Remember, the words you speak today will shape the experiences of tomorrow, so choose them wisely. If this lesson resonated with you, reflect on how you can apply it in your own life. Share this wisdom with others, and together, let's create a world filled with kind, mindful, and healing speech.